Hello, my educator family. Let me welcome you to Strategy Sunday. Let me wish for you a happy new year, and I wish that you'll have bountiful blessings multiplied and running over in your career, in your home, in your education, whatever it is, that you will have abundant blessings. Now, as we begin the new school term and a new year, I would like to speak to you about the 3 C's. And I know you know the 3 C's to be critical thinking, communication, all of that. But for us today, when we look at the 3 C's, we're looking at 1, connection, 2, communication, and 3, collaboration. Now, this is a principle that has been used by successful businesses all over the world, but today we're putting it in light of the school environment. We know here in Jamaica, all our students will be back to school face to face, whether they're going to do rotational or the blended approach, that you will be able to see them. And so when you see them, there are some things that we will need to do as educators, and we are going to get right into it now. So the first one has to do with, number 1, connection. How do you connect with your students? You are welcoming them back to school. What do you need to do? This is where you need to do it through conversation with them. You need to also reintegrate them into school by going over the expectations, going over what is it that is required of them, depending on the level at which they are. Even if they're at the kindergarten level, you will still need to be reintegrating the students. Remember, for the past 2 years, 2020, 2021, all most of the students know is just to be at home over the internet doing school. So now that you're going to have them back to school face to face, you will need to reintegrate them. There may be connection that you'll have to do over social skills. You wait until you're spoken to, or you wait your turn to enter the conversation. All of that you will need to do, educators, and it is nothing new that we have not known, or we cannot do, or we have not done in the past. You want to also celebrate their achievements. There are some students who they stood steady to the task while you were teaching them online. They got onto Google Classroom, they completed all their assignments, they got what they need to be, they got all the things that they need to get done. And so as a result of that, they would have been awarded, or you would have been giving them certificates right throughout the time to say good job and so on. This is now where you need to openly celebrate with them while their classmates are there. And the final thing you want to do is to commend them. Those who have been on task, been online, you want to commend them. You want to show them that you appreciate them. And by doing so, educators, you are actually pushing them a little bit further, pushing them to understand that, yes, I have it within me. I can do all that I know I can. And because teacher is pushing for me, and she's working with me, or he is working with me, I know I'll be able to accomplish for this new term and also to close off the school year. The second C that I would like to share with you is communication. So we know that communication is very important. You want to be able to talk with them, not to them. There's a difference. So you're talking with them, which means you're allowing them space in the conversation and dialogue that you're having for them to respond to you, for them to speak back with you, for them to give you their insight. When you talk to them, you are telling them, and there is no space there for them to share their experience. So here is a time, educators, where I would like to say to you, talk with them, get them to be communicating with you, tell them of the plans that you have for them for this new term. What is it that you'll be doing for them? What is it that you expect them to do? How can they excel? How can they get a sticker? How can they go onto the awards chart? How can they get a certificate? You may also find that depending on the level at which you teach, you may want to create little vision boards for them so they know exactly what is it that I want to accomplish while I'm in this particular grade, and you keep that at the forefront of their minds for them to be able to connect with. You also want to provide opportunities for them because you're communicating with them. So you want to provide opportunities for them to maybe do over an assignment. You may want to go over some assignments that were not done well in Google Classroom or over Zoom. You may want to give them the opportunity to read you a test or an activity that you know is critical for them to learn certain concepts and skills in the subject. So you may want to spend some time to do just that with your students. You also, through communication, so communication, as we know, educators, is not just about talking, but it's also about listening. You want to listen to your students and you want them to listen to you, because in listening there are some cues that you will pick up. You'll pick up a child who was abused, whether the different forms of abuse that they endure. You may pick that up. You may pick up a child that has lost a loved one and they are not recuperating well, a child who has fear and anxiety towards coming back to school. When you listen to them, you'll be able to pick that up, and when they listen to you, they'll be able to hear that care, that natural care that you have for them. You also want to teach them as well how to listen to others and how to be caring. What do you do when you hear someone says they have been so hurt, or someone say they were lonely or they miss their friends? How do you teach them to react? And that can only be done, educators, when we teach them to listen. So we have looked at connection, we have looked at communication, and finally we're looking at collaboration. How is it that you are going to teach the students to collaborate? What is it that you need them to know about collaboration? And so you want to teach them how to work with each other on a particular task. How can they collaborate with a student from another school? For those students who are at the CSEC or the CAPE level, how can you communicate with someone who is doing a similar IA? How can you communicate? There are marathons, there are different things, there are Zoom meetings that some schools have. You want to teach them how to collaborate. You have to teach them how not to be selfish with the knowledge that they have, because the world is our oyster, and so whatever it is that they know, someone else out there will know it and even know more. And what they use it for, someone else is going to use it. And remember that when you prepare them for the world beyond now, in terms of their school world that they're in now, when you prepare them for CSEC, they're going to end up being in companies when they leave. They may not see John, who used to be in class with them. They may go somewhere else. How do you use that knowledge? So you want to teach them how to collaborate with others and how to share. You want to also let them see you as the educator collaborating. So you may need to get another colleague from another school, or even from your school who teaches a different subject, to come and to share with them some information. So much of what we do in the classroom and in schools, we should not only be telling students about it, but we should be demonstrating it too, as teachers, as educators, so that the students will see that Miss or Sir is not only talking, it's not just lip service, but it is actually being done. So you want them to see that you are collaborating. You want to teach them too, and provide opportunities for them to collaborate with others while they're doing an assignment, while they're doing a puzzle. There are so many things that we have learned since COVID has locked us down through technology. You can use the gamification apps where they're working together as a team in class, and working through a situation, even though they're in class, they can be working online. So you want to provide those opportunities as well. And colleagues, let me just remind you that let us never ever forget that going forward, we cannot. So even if your school opens for full time, we cannot just leave Google Classroom alone. We cannot just use the technology alone. We have to be able to integrate the technology into the physical space to get our students staying on par. We can't fall back now. We have come too far to look back. Is a song that I love. We have come too far to look back. So let's not just throw out the technology at this point in time, because for some schools, you may just be doing face-to-face, but still integrate the technology. And for the others, you're doing the blended approach, the rotational approach, you will still need to use the technology. Colleagues, I want to wish for you a great new term, a great year ahead. And I pray that above everything else, that our students will really benefit from us this year. So this was my New Year's video to you all educators as you go back this week to inculcate the minds of our young people across the world. It's not just Jamaica, but globally. I am Karla Boswell-Lewis. Let me wish for you a great week. Thank you so much.